here?
Uh, Panera.
That's shooting for the moon. We are aiming for the stars here on Friend Stream Sports.
Aiming for those stars, just like the Dallas Mavericks tonight are playing like some stars. That's for sure.
They
They're playing like
are
their hockey team counterparts.
they I'm proud of you for a hockey reference. They
Hey, I know hockey.
everyone knows a little hockey.
I used to watch the Colorado Avalanche a ton growing up as a kid
I hate the Colorado Avalanche.
with
Make
Patrick Waugh and Peter Forsberg, but the straw that really stirred the drink of the Avalanche was Joe Sakic.
I
That
hate
guy, whenever he was on the ice, he was making an impact.
I hate all of those guys. They used to beat up on my Canucks so bad back in the early 2000s. And
So,
what a bunch of punks. That was wide open spaces.
what a bunch of Stanley Cup winning punks.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of transitions,
speaking of transitions here on Friend Stream Sports, which we're really good at. Rutledge, let's talk about some NFL. We had the big draft this weekend.
yes, 2021 was served on draft for the stars came out this past week. Some big names. So we're gonna take our very own. No one has a segment like this in the sports talk world. I'm pretty proud of this segment, Connor. We call this Must Bust and Trust. So tell the people what are we going to talk about in Must Bust and Trust tonight?
Yeah, so the idea is, as always, you got something that's a must, something that you think kind of gets the A, if you will. You had the bust, the just yeah. Who do you think is the bust in terms of draft overall drafts of a team, and then that's bust. But I love trust because you can take trust a lot of different ways. Is it just who is solid, who's going to play right up to expectations? You got a little bit of play in the trust, which I always find is a lot of fun. So Rutledge, what we're asking tonight is between must, bust, and trust. Who, what kind of grades are we giving the some of these NFL teams here? Uh, from this past weekend.
Yeah, there's some big ones. So I'm gonna go, and these are me that are they're just three teams that had good high profile drafts. I'm gonna go with my must is in someone that you gotta watch what this draft class is gonna do in the NFL next year, and I'm gonna go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know that this might seem like the sexy pick, but Urban Meyer's all about building culture and getting people in on his message and really driving this is what we're trying to accomplish. I think in order to do that, you have to, especially for him and how he's been such a good college coach, you have to have some youth. Picking up Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne to get familiar with each other in the backfield um, is going to make Trevor Lawrence a little bit more comfortable. He also put in a lot of different to the huddle and practice in the film room. The room's going to listen to him. I still think they could go 8-8, but I think this is him laying the groundwork to be more successful. So that's my must is the class out for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So my must, I think the Jags is a good pick. Um, my must, I'm going to go with the Dolphins here, and really it's just uh, there's two players that I think really exemplify why I think it's the Dolphins had a must draft. Number one, super high on Jalen Waddle. I was all about him uh, during our power ranking segment last week, and I think not just that, but you got the tight end Hunter Long out of BC. There's a lot of really smart sports people that are saying has a big chance to be a sleeper. You know, one of the things that you do if your quarterback isn't as good as you want him to be, which it's looking like, early returns on Tua not as good as people are hoping, is to continue to give him weapons. So I'm looking at Jalen Waddle and Hunter Long to create this Dolphins draft class as the must. So Rutledge, those are our musts. Who are our busts?
I am going to go and actually, I am playing against a wall tonight of players. Dallas is nothing but height, and it is absolutely nasty. Look at it, just getting rocked tonight. I'm going to go with my bust is the Seattle Seahawks. And what I mean by the Seattle Seahawks is, and this may feel a little homer for everyone out there that knows I'm a diehard 12. Um, they only had three picks, and it feels very obvious to say, well, they kind of busted in the drafts because they only had three picks. But luckily they sort of attacked the needs that they had. They got a wide receiver, they got a tackle, they got a cornerback because they lost one of their stud cornerbacks, and Shaquille Griffin is a Jaguar now. But I think this was the year they really needed to make some moves. And while I know they only had 3 picks, you can't continue to build. You got to really hope what you have is going to carry you. And I don't think they grabbed big enough players in their 3 picks to make a difference. They're just sustaining their roster. So that's my
You,
bust.
I've got a source that when I asked him about the Seahawks draft, he goes, especially with the wide receiver position, he goes, Seahawks drafted another 24-year-old standout from the Senior Bowl. Let's see how we do it. Let's see how that goes. So,
Right.
yeah, definitely a interesting. It's kind of tough if you just have three players to choose from, but or to pick. But we'll see. We'll see how this all works out here for sure. My bust after I make this great substitution that I'm about ready to make here. My bust is the Green Bay Packers. Shout out to friend of the show Emily Woodward, who has been great posting everything on Facebook of how upset she is with the Green Bay Packers. But going into the draft, Aaron Rodgers made his surprise announcement, and you spend your first 4 picks not on wide receivers. What do you do if you want Aaron Rodgers to stay? I don't know, man. Like, I think that if you hear that from Aaron Rodgers that he's leaving, I think you take any plans that you had in the draft, you throw them out the window, and you say, let's do whatever we need to do to keep Aaron Rodgers happy. I'm sure he can be tough to work with. I'm sure that there's things that you could say, oh, he doesn't quite understand this, that, and the other. Here's the deal. Aaron Rodgers kind of is the sort of golden goose for the Green Bay Packers. Rutledge, what's the number one rule with golden gooses?
You never touch their eggs.
Never touch their eggs. Never kill the golden goose for chicken meat. Never kill the golden goose. And
I've
I think
killed
the
a lot of
Packers
golden
have been.
gooses. I didn't know that rule until
I think
right
the
now.
Packers have been very, very lucky to have. I don't think they realize how lucky they've been to have go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
That's like, ask the Colts what it was like to go from Peyton Manning to revolving door to Andrew Luck to Jacoby Brissett. That was tough. So I think that the Green Bay Packers, even after this draft, Aaron Rodgers saying, no, I'm done with you guys. Maybe he would have said that if they only picked wide receivers, but spending your first 4 picks not on wide receivers isn't exactly sending a message to Aaron Rodgers that you're ready to play ball.
I definitely can see that as a bust, and we will definitely see how that goes down. So that's our must, that's our bust. And now who do we trust? Connor, I'm gonna get
Yeah,
your
so
I'm gonna get your I
go.
wanna go first. I'm gonna get your attention, as I don't seem to have your attention on the basketball court with my trust this evening. I'm gonna say a team name that people are gonna come at me for. The Cleveland Browns.
Whoa.
I'm well aware of what I've said as the Cleveland Browns, but this Browns organization feels different. Myles Garrett needs help with that defense. I think Baker Mayfield and the offensive pieces that they have are great. Uh, I think they needed to add sort of some ability to really make some impacts on the defensive side of the ball. That division has got some great quarterbacks, and that division has got some great teams to where it's all about what does your defense do. They really sort of took after that, and it's gonna be the AFC North is gonna be a bloodbath this year on the gridiron. Just like this game is an absolute bloodbath for me. But I am taking the Browns. I trust them to take that lineup and really make some moves.
No doubt. Hey, I think AFC North. You gotta bring an extra sandwich when you play an AFC North teams, right? Because they are going to stress you all day long, no doubt about it. My trust is the Arizona Cardinals. I think that the Cardinals are going to be. They had a couple really, really solid picks. I love their second round pick, Rondale Moore, out of Purdue. I hope my wife heard that. giving Purdue a shout out here on the show. I think he's got the chance to be a stud because he can do a lot of things. But then also they're very high on their first round pick, Javon Collins. So I think that the Cardinals added some really good pieces at the top end of the draft for sure.
We will definitely see how it goes. You love you some Arizona Cardinals.
I didn't think I would love the Cardinals as much as I do, but yeah, I'm into them. I'm into the Cardinals. I think that they're going to be the NFC West got a lot better after this draft, just as a whole.
I am no longer into the Portland Trailblazers. I'll tell you that much. Um, Go in.
They're playing on this video game like they've been playing this season.
Just like that. It's their defense.
Roses are beautiful and soft. You don't think about defense when you think of a rose.
Are you insinuating that Derrick Rose is on the Portland Trailblazers? I don't know where you're going with this analogy.
I'm insinuating that the nickname for Portland is the Rose City.
Oh, once again, you are smarter.
Deep fake Connor here. So,